1,000 people in the street, singing songs and a carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
So hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. So it's been a while again since my last upload. I've really been busy recently and I've just not had the time to make a video or edit them, because they do take a bit to edit. But yeah, so I'm back. Today's video will be 5 things I dislike about the Civic. I did this with the EP2 before, but I'm doing this obviously with the Type R now, so it's a bit different. Most of them are the same as the the EP2. To be fair, there's not really anything related, in terms of the engine or whatever. I don't think that I could think of that I dislike compared with EP2. So yeah, so getting into point 1, I've got a list here just so I can remember, so that's what I'm looking at, by the way. So obviously the fuel is a lot worse than the EP2, no surprise. So that's one thing that I dislike. Now I wouldn't really call this a dislike. It kind of is. Nobody likes having to use more fuel. However, it is a Type R, it's K20, it uses a lot of fuel. Although I probably average out in about this, probably 25 mile per gallon, probably something about 25, 28, probably about that, maybe less at times. But yeah, they're not the best. EP2s, if you're looking at getting them, they get about 33, about 35 best usually. Sometimes you can get a bit more, but these are probably 30 is the most you're going to get out of them. So yeah, that is one thing that I dislike. They do use a shitload of fuel. A little thing that links in with that, which doesn't help as well, telling how much fuel you've got, because the fuel gauge I've found in Civics, I found this with my EP2 as well, but I don't think it was as bad. I think it was actually. For some reason the fuel gauge in these are like crap, they never read right. Now there's a lot of people that have the same issue, I think. I think it's a bit of a problem with the fuel pump, how it sits in the tank. Now I don't really know how it works, in terms of a Civic, but I don't know if it's like, it's obviously just reading somehow wrong. So from the bottom of the tank, I don't know if it differs with the the fuel system compared with the EP2. However, it just never reads right. Like, you can be on a flat surface, you can you do all the right things to check that it's reading right, and it still just measures way off. Like, I'll start the car and it'll start just above the red line, and then it'll jump all the way up to half a tank. It's like nearly half a tank difference, and it's like, how does that make sense? Like, surely if it's sat on flat and you start it, it should find out within like a minute, but sometimes it takes 10-15 minutes and then it just slowly goes up. Other times it'll just come down loads, like it'll drop from half to like below a third or whatever, and then you'll park up, turn it on the next day, and it'll be back at half again. It just doesn't make sense. Now I think this is a common issue with Civics. Unfortunately, the fuel pump are just shit in them. So that's another little thing. Like, you never know how much fuel you have because it kind of just jumps all over the place. It's really annoying. It annoys me. I find it very annoying, because then I think I've got, oh no, I've nearly run out of fuel. Turn it on next day and it's at half a tank, or it's proper annoying. But yeah, that's one little thing that annoys me, that I dislike about these, and the other cars probably don't have issues with just reading how much fuel you actually have in your tank. It's not that hard of a thing to do from a fuel pump. But yeah, this tends to suffer from that issue. Another thing is they tend to rust bad. Now mine's starting to go a little bit on the kind of the corners on the rear arch. If you have a Civic, you'll know definitely what I'm on about. On the corners, there's always a bit that goes there. Behind the rear speakers, I rust treated that, so that's all kind of sorted for now. So they're rust treated. I've done the rust conversion. Can't remember what company it is, but there's a company, you know what I mean if you've done it before. But the conversion, rust to metal conversion thing, so I sanded all that back, put that on. But yeah, that's one thing that these go for. If you are looking at getting a Civic, just be sure that you check everywhere, especially behind the rear speakers. A lot of people do not check behind the rear speakers. I think I'll be doing a video as well on kind of, if you're first time buying a Civic, and what to look out for, really, because there's a lot that my mate's told me before. When I bought my Civic, he knows a load about Civics as well. He sells parts to them and whatnot, but he told me a load of stuff to look out for, and I've kind of found a few bits as well as over the years of owning one, that you really need to look out for before you buy it, especially one that I can think of. So that's just another thing to look out for: under the sills, rear arches, behind the rear arms at the back, like just behind the fuel tank. They tend to go a bit round there, which is not as much of an issue, but it's still to look out for. Wishbones, they tend to, on high mileage ones, they just fucking thin out, and then I've seen people where they just snap and just wheel caves in, and it's terrible. So I'd check all them areas if you are looking at getting one, but that is one thing I dislike about this. You have to be constantly on it with the rust, checking it all the time, and it's kind of always that thing in the back of your mind. It's like, when will it get that bad that I need to fork out like a bit of money to get it properly done, because that's not something I'd want to do. I'd do a bit of it, a bit of treatment and a bit of sorting it here and there, little bits, but I think you have to know what you're doing with that properly to underseal a car, and because a lot of people could get it wrong and they just slap a load of fucking wax oil over rust underneath, and then they don't see it, and then the bottom of the car drops out, and it's just fucking, that's something that I don't want to do. But yeah, anyway, so I've got on here shitty brakes. The brakes on these are shite, not in terms of actually braking, well, when you put your foot on the brake, I mean in terms of stopping and whatnot, but they are just really, really crap for some reason. The design of the brakes on these, especially, I think the rear ones, I've always had issues with them, and they're just known for being awful. A lot of people have issues with them. The actual design of them, so it's not just like a wear and tear thing. Like, you could buy a new set probably, and they'd just go, like after 6 months of using them, they'd just go really crappy. I think it's the pins on mine, they seize up a load. Like, I've got one that I had to re-grease all the pins on, and it's still sticking. Like, when you have the handbrake on, it'll still stick, and it'll still be rubbing on the disc. So if I bought a new set, £200, they'd probably go anyway after half a year, they'd be knackered. So that's annoying. So you just have to go big brakes on these if you don't want to worry about that, but that's 1,200 quid, or second hand 800 quid or whatever you can get some for. But that's really annoying with these, that the brakes are just awful. So yeah, it's best just to buy a new set and just hope that they're a bit less crappy than the ones you've got on, if that's, if you've got a Civic. But yeah, I'd watch out with them, make sure they don't stick, and just look out for that. That's one thing you're gonna have to be, kind of working on the brakes quite a bit more than you normally would. But the actual caliper itself, more than just like checking on discs and pads, it will be the actual caliper itself. The insurance is another point that I dislike about these. Again, they are 2 litre, they're a very sporty car, all that. They are, they're going to be high on insurance, but mine is not actually as bad as it is now. Now that I've got a few more years driving experience. However, when I started out, my EP2 was ridiculously, priced. Probably should have sold it and got another car at that point, but it was a lot. When I got a quote on that, it was probably about £2,000, a little over that, on an EP2. Type R now, it's way cheaper, but that's because I've got a few years. So if you are looking at getting one of these, you probably looked already at insurance, and they're just, for me that was probably quite cheap because I'm student. I was a student even, so I had student insurance and whatnot, and it brought it down quite a lot. But in general, they are quite a lot to insure, so that's another thing to look out for. With these Civics, EP2 is the same. It's kind of the car really, it's just how much it'll be, and also to tax. It's quite a lot, 330 quid a year for the Type R for me. So yeah, that is a few things that I dislike about the Civic. They're not all, massively dislike about with the, they're a lot to run. You kind of have to know that before you buy it. I mean, I knew it, but it's just really annoying because for some reason it does seem to be really bad on fuel at the minute. I mean, that's probably just something else, an issue related thing, that it's using more fuel, but either way they do use a lot. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do drop a comment what you'd like me to film next, because I love people giving me ideas for videos, what they want to see, and kind of help people out that are watching you guys. Obviously with Civics, you know, that is what my channel's about, but there's not a lot of Civic content, so I want to bring more videos to you, you know, that you're after. So if you're looking to buy Civic or you want to know more things about them, I can try and do videos on that, as well as obviously mod videos and whatnot. But yes, if you want to know that, just please drop a comment, drop a like as well, subscribe if you're not. We're not that far away from reaching 1,000 subscribers, which I never thought was possible. So yeah, thank you all so much. I really appreciate every one of you, and please check out my other videos. There might be something on there that interests you, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.